Set 10 Remix Rumble is in full swing, so here's the top 5 comps for you to play. First up, we have Jazz Jam, which is a slow roll comp that uses a huge mix of traits alongside Jazz as your core, with the two 3-cost units Misfortune and Neeko as your 3-star carries. Jazz grants your team more health and more damage for each unique trait you have active, so here we'll add Ekko, Kai'Sa, Kennen and Lilia to activate KDA, Superfan, Guardian, Sentinel, True Damage and Big Shot, as well as Bard and Lucian for Jazz. For the headliner in this one, you want to grab yourself a Jazz Misfortune if you can, and if you can't, go for a Jazz Bard instead, who also surprisingly turns into a bit of a demon secondary carry if you get him 3-starred and itemized with some AP. Speaking of items, Misfortune is your main priority, and she works best with a Rage Blade and Last Whisper. And if she's your headliner, the third item will be granted to her by Superfan, which will be a Death Blade. Neeko is your main tank, and she feels unkillable with a Bramble Vest, Dragon's Claw and Warmox. As we mentioned earlier already, you can itemize Bard with AP and mana, and if he's your headliner instead of MF, he'll get an adaptive helm. So a Spear of Shojin and Jeweled Gauntlet alongside that will be ideal. For your augments, your biggest priority will be That's Jazz Baby, which makes your Jazz units even stronger. You can also go for reroll augments like Prismatic Ticket, Shopping Spree or any form of team building to help you hit those carries 3 stars. If you want to see Jazz Jam or any of the strongest comps this set in more detail, then don't forget we have full in-depth expert video guides on our website and desktop app. So all you gotta do is click the link in the description to see them in full for yourselves. Next up we have another slow roll comp called Country Roads, which, as you'd expect, runs with a stacked country ball with Samira as your main backline carry, Urgot bringing some damage and durability, and Thresh doing all the hooking and tanking in front. You'll be looking to play for level 7 here to have the best chances of seeing and 3-starring your 3-cost carries. Alongside your Samira, Urgot and Thresh, you'll use Alawi, Tahm Kench, Amumu, Vex and Set to complete your board with a mix of traits and synergies. For your headliner in this one, you want to get yourself a Country Samira as the highest priority, but if you really cannot find this one, you can also settle for a Country Urgot instead. For Samira's items, you want to go for pure damage with crit and penetration, with Infinity Edge, Giant Slayer and Last Whisper being her best in slots. Urgot wants a mix of sustain and damage with BT, Titans and Sterak's. And then you can just send all of your leftover tank items onto Thresh, and any leftover AP can go towards your Vex. For augments, you cannot go wrong with reroll augments in this one like Prismatic Ticket, Heroic Grab Bag or Team Building. You should also aim to pick up any AD or item based augments like Overwhelming Force or You Have My Sword, because let's be honest, this comp needs a lot of BF swords to play perfectly. Aside from that, the country specific augment called Bounty Hunters is obviously a fantastic option as well. And then don't forget about healing orbs if the other options aren't that great. Coming in at number 3, we've got Zorn 182, which is a full split of Punk and Guardian units that uses Jinx as your main headliner carry. And then Pantheon will be your main tank in the front line. You'll also finish off your comp with Twitch, Thresh, Vi, Amumu and Neeko. This is a slow roll comp, but not your typical one that you may be used to seeing because of the unique Punk trait mechanic. This trait bonus gives you more stats based on how many times you refresh your shop. So in the best case scenario, you will 3-star your entire board when playing this one, and always use that 1-cost reroll every single round no matter what to make sure you pump up those Punk stats. 3-star Jinx and Vi, then head to level 6 and 3-star Pantheon and Twitch, and yeah, so on and so forth. Now for Jinx's items, you want to focus on a Rage Blade for ramping attack speed and a Death Blade for that 8% bonus AD, which of course works out even better with all those Punk stacks. Then you can just chuck a Last Whisper on her to finish for penetration. After Jinx, you want to gear up your main tank Pantheon with ideally a Bramble Vest, Dragon's Claw and Warmox. You can then throw any leftover AD or attack speed items onto Twitch with a red buff and Giant Slayer being perfect, and then any leftover tank items just chuck them onto Thresh or Vi. For augments, the extended play Punk augment will make this trait even stronger than it already is. However, Frequent Flyer is easily the best augment choice for this comp. This is because due to the Punk trait, your carries get stronger with each shop refresh, and that means when you use this augment to cut your shop refresh cost down to half, your carries will get double the amount of bonus Punk stats. Other reroll augments like Prismatic Ticket or Heroic Grab Bags are good too, but don't sleep on Infernal Contract either, because all that gold will help you 3-star your board and pump all those Punk stacks further too. Plus, you really don't need to go past level 8 anyway. Coming in at number 4, we have Weaver Fever, which uses a 5 spell weaver board alongside a variety of other traits to pump out big damage to enemy boards. This comp uses Annie, Amumu, Ekko, Neeko, Ahri, Lulu, Kennen and Lilia, and for your headliner you can go for any spell weaver unit here. Annie is a great option if you see her early enough and you can 3-star her, or you can go for Lulu, Ahri or even Ekko. This is another slow roll comp, but you only want to focus on 3-starring Annie here and ideally having her as a headliner. After 3-starring her, all you want to do is push levels and activate more Spellweaver and more Guardians to make her wipe out enemy teams with a strong standing frontline. When it comes to items, you want to gear up your headliner Annie early on if you can, with a Nashor's Tooth and a Spear of Shojin, and she'll get another Spear of Shojin from that Superfan trait. After that, you can just load up your frontline with tank items on Ekko, Amumu or Neeko, or a combination of all of the above. Besides that, you can look to place any leftover AP and mana items onto Ahri or Lulu. For augments, the Spellweaver specific augment Raise the Tempo is an instant pickup, giving you more ability casts for most of your board. You should also grab Impenetrable Bulwark to stack your frontline full of items. Jeweled Lotus can help to get those backlines critting, or Magic Wand for more damage and of course an extra rod. You can also go for any form of Pandora's items to make sure you get all those unique and specific items you need. Finally, we have our last top 5 comp of the day, which is KDA All Out. This comp uses a full KDA team that makes use of all those empowered hexes, with Ahri and Akali pumping out ridiculous damage across the board. You'll also use Neeko as your main tank, and then Seraphine, Ekko, Evelynn, Kennen and Lilia to complete your comp. As for your headliner, you can go for any of your 3 main units here, Ahri, Akali or Neeko. As this comp focuses on mainly our 2 4-cost carries in Ahri and Akali, this is a true default leveling comp, which actually means that reaching level 7 is your priority around the start of stage 4, and stabilizing and transitioning items onto these 2 carries, as well as 3-starring Neeko along the way. For items, you want to start building Ahri's options first with a blue buff and a dual gauntlet, and if she's your headliner, the 3rd item will already be granted to her, which is a death cap. Then you can start focusing on Akali with BT Titans and Hand of Justice for tons of damage, durability and healing. Aside from that, gear up Neeko with tons of tank items in Bramble, Stoneplate and Warmogs if you can. For augments, you want to look to secure anything that increases your team's damage output, with options like Unleashed Arcana or Pandora's items to make sure you get those best in slots. Any form of Jeweled Lotus also pops off in this one, as well as the KDA specific trait Share the Spotlight. But don't forget about getting new recruits either, because that champ duplicator can make 2-starring Ahri and Akali much easier. That brings us to the end of our top 5 comps for you to play this week as set 10 kicks off. We hope you're all enjoying it as much as we are so far, and don't forget to download our overlay to follow these guides in-game step by step and help you master them better than all of those people trying to contest you. Get set up in no time at all just by clicking the link in the description. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.